All right, guys, it's 8:30. Let's just wait a minute or two and see. Let's wait a minute or two. Abby's on, so we're good to go there. Then we'll just get some people, let some people pop on here before we start. Okay, more people popping on. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I will watch those who pop on and take control of muting them, but we are recording. So this is our Monday night team call. We've got Rise Up Empire, and we may have some people. I see Ashley, so we might have some people popping in from Ignite and Shine, and then also Fearlessly Fit United. So awesome, and thank you, Rise Up Empire, for showing up strong. I love to have a full house. I know that we always leave Monday nights feeling fired up and ready to go. And I am so excited to throw it over to Abby tonight. Abby, I'm not even going to do a huge introduction because I kind of don't want to give away your story, but I met Abby when, I joined Rock Solid almost 4 years ago. And she always inspired me. She was kind of the person that I looked to for leadership and heart. And I think even, almost 4 years later, that's still the same. And so I knew that you guys would benefit from hearing from her because every time I see her pop up in live over in Rock Solid, I'm like, give me more, give me more. So Abby, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to throw it over to you. I'm going to mute myself. Do you want, if there's questions, do you want to take them as you go, or do you want to hold to the end and have them type it in the chat? What do you prefer?
I can take them as I go if I see them. If I miss one though, we'll do it at the end.
All right. So type your questions in the chat, guys, and I'm gonna give it to you.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I live out like in the country, so if my internet kind of goes in and out, I'm hoping it's not going to because my kids are not on the internet right now. But that's the reason. And 3 out of my 5 children are puking right now, so it's crazy over here. Anyway, so as Krista mentioned, I joined Courtney back when Rock Solid didn't even exist. We were actually part of Fit and Fierce. You guys probably know them. You've heard of them. Carrie and Megan led that team. And so Courtney was like very new to coaching. We worked together at Radford University. I think she maybe had one other coach under her in addition to her husband. And so I decided, hey, this is something that I'm really interested in doing. And so I joined her. And right away, like I knew that I wanted to make this something that I ran with. I knew that I wanted to be a career coach. I didn't want to just do it for the discount. And so I kind of started running pretty quickly. I think I became Emerald within, 3 weeks or so. And I was unhappy in my job. So that's kind of what was pushing me to do this. I have 3 stepchildren. We now have 2 of our own children. So we have 5 children. So that was kind of like leading me to be able to have some more flexibility because our 3 oldest are now in middle school and are very, very busy. And activities end at 4, which I don't understand that. How do people that work do that? So I kind of was pushing towards that. When I had I transitioned to Diamond, sorry. So I made it to Diamond. I was like, oh my gosh, here I go. I'm like on it. But after I became Diamond, I kind of stopped. And I think I got in this situation where it was really hard to juggle both being a mom and working full time outside of the home and being a coach. But I kept going. And then after we had our 5th child, I got kind of like in this depression, I guess, kind of like postpartum depression.
Thank you.
I had this postpartum depression. And so I kind of felt like, how am I going to help anybody if I can't even help myself? Which now looking back, that was the stupidest thought that I could have ever had because this team, this community inspires me so much to be better that without them, I can't be who I want to be. So anyway, I decided to completely leave the business. Like I didn't just say, oh, I'm going to step back for a while and I'm going to keep my place in the business. I left. Like I left my Diamond organization. I was at the top of course. And so I had like massive amount of carryover volume that I could have like really, compounded. I could have been really successful if I wanted to be. But I just left. And I decided to pursue something else. Of you who have followed me since we could notice that I joined Running in Fields for a while. And it was eye-opening. Like they basically framed it to me, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this as well, that I could make a lot of money really easily, really quickly. I wouldn't have to do as much work as I do with Beachbody, and that I would be super successful. And so I left, and almost immediately after I left, probably within the first month, I realized that it was a huge mistake, but I couldn't go back. It was one of those things where I was like, I got to see this through. So I continued for probably about a year. And realized, Courtney, I have been thinking about this forever. Like it got to the point that I couldn't even look at people's posts that from the team. Like I would see Dana posting, I'd see Krista posting, I would see Courtney posting, and I couldn't even look at it because it literally broke my heart. It gave me like this sinking feeling in my stomach. Like I should be there. I should be doing this. That's what fills my bucket up. But I wasn't. And so after about a year of telling myself, I can't go back in now. People are going to think I'm a fake. People are going to think I'm a phony. Courtney's going to be like, you left. You're not allowed to come back. She's posted something and I happened to read it. And it was just that sign that I needed to get back in. I needed to jump back in and do this for myself. And so I did. And was it scary? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's so scary. I mean, it's scary if you just take a step back and you're not active in your business for a couple of months, but to completely leave the business and to completely give up all of that volume and all of those customers. I mean, my customer list was huge, was scary. I'm like, can I do this again? And I just basically told myself, you have to play hard where you're supposed to be. And people are going to see the passion behind what you're doing and they're going to want to follow you again. And so I just kind of dove in and decided that I was going to put that fear aside. I was going to go what I wanted to go for. You know, at this time, I actually am a stay-at-home mom. I left my job to be a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't have that extra income. And so it was really scary. And so I'm like, I need this to work now. Like I have this, like I need to be successful in this business because there's I have to, like we have a family and that extra income would be really nice. And so I kind of decided to say, forget it. Like I told my sister-in-law, I was like, listen, I love you. And I love these products because I do. I loved the products, but this is not my passion. Like I cannot get excited about helping people with their skincare. I just can't. I've tried for months to try and connect with people in our team page and I can't. And it's not that they're bad people. It's just that, they were in the skincare business. They're very interested in the way that they look. I'm showing up today, like with no makeup on. Like I needed to be around those same like-minded people. I'm not so much like I like pride in my look, but I make people feel good because they feel good from the inside out. And I want to, inspire others and make them feel good. And so even if I wasn't completely successful with Beachbody, I felt like I needed that platform behind me to be able to start talking like that again and sharing my heart and sharing my passion and helping people. And even if I don't get to Diamond again, which I'm going to, but even if I don't, the fact that I can help people feel better about themselves or inspire them or, maybe offer something that is helpful to them is great. Like feel like I'm doing my job when I'm able to do that. So all that to be said is I know sometimes like it gets hard. This business is not easy. And I know you've heard it. If this business was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be a star diamond. Everybody would, be elite. It's not easy, but it takes heart. And there's going to be times where, you feel a little set back and you can't get back in, or you're telling yourself you can't get back in. You just have to jump back in. You just have to do it. And is it easy? No, but I know that you have a heart for what you're doing because that's why you're here. And I think as long as you lead with your heart, that's the main thing. So, now having been back, I made it to Emerald this month, so I'm working on it. But I guess my biggest thing, like I said, is just being able to help people, and the messages that I've gotten from people since I've been back, so many messages every day. I'm so glad to see you back. I'm so glad to see that you're posting again and you're sharing your inspiration and you're sharing your journey. And I'm so glad that you shared about your anxiety because I have that too. What's worked for you? Or I'm so glad that I'm not the only mom that totally feels like a hot mess and, can't seem to get through her day without a few cuss words. I mean, really, it's just been so exciting to be able to share that again with people and to feel that passion. So if you're kind of feeling stuck right now, I just want to tell you, like, you can do this. Don't make the big mistake like I did and completely leave your business. Just don't do it. It's stupid. But if you've stepped back and you feel like you are having a hard time getting momentum again, just think back to why you started. Just like we tell our challengers, why are you doing this? What is the deep rooted reason that you're doing this? And try to connect with that. Reach out to someone to help you stay on track. Everybody needs several success buddies, right? Um, and just share your heart. Forget about the success club points, forget about everything else, and just share your heart and invite people into what it is you're doing. And I think that's been the most helpful this time around, because when I first joined, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but when I first joined, Courtney, we were all about success club because that's kind of what our coaches told us to do. But as you get into this business, you realize it's so much more than success club points. About helping people. And if you're helping people and you're leading with passion and you just want to help them, the success clubs and that success I want to continue. And so that, I think, was the biggest piece that's now coming back, is that I'm focusing more on just helping people and meeting people where they are. And if where they're at is a 2-week trial, free trial, then that's what we're going to start with. I'm not going to push them to purchase a challenge pack. I'm not going to put like I used to, because I feel like that's where I lost a lot of business, a lot of customers, and a lot of momentum, was that I was trying to push something on someone that they weren't ready for. And so that's the biggest change that I've made. And it's kind of nice because I can go back and say, what did I not do well before that I can kind of do better at this time? And that's been successful for me. I've started several people on a free trial, and they fall in love with our team. They fall in love with BOD, and they decide they want to join. And maybe right now it's just a year membership. Maybe it's a quarterly membership, but eventually they keep seeing us post about Shakeology and all these other things, and they're going to join us. And so the other big takeaway that I think I've learned is that, I know the kind of people that I want to be surrounded with. Like, I'm thinking about the women that I want surrounding me. And those are the people I'm going for as far as coaches go. Like, those are the people that I want to be around me. Those are the people that I want to lift me up. And I think, yeah, we all have discount coaches and things like that. But I think once I got to a certain level, once I got to Diamond, I just really stopped recruiting people. And so the people in my lifestyle changed. The people that I had recruited early on were way different than I was 5 years or 4 years later. And I wasn't recruiting the people that were like me. So I wasn't continuing to add people that, filled my bucket. And it just kind of made me go stagnant. So you got to continue to surround yourself with those positive people. I don't know if that was at all helpful. What questions do you guys have for me?
No, that was extremely helpful. And I'm going to let other people dive in too, but I was writing down some questions while you were speaking.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about like what your own journey was like aside from coaching? So like when you decided to quit your coach business, what was your journey like in the past year?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Thank you. It's been rocky, honestly. So I mentioned that I quit my job about a year ago. So I kind of had all these life changes over the last year. And I think, and those who know me well, like, just know that Beachbody's just kind of been like my lifeline for 4 to 5 years. Like, that's just been who I am. And so I felt really fake and really phony, honestly, when I started selling this skincare thing. And I think the more that I got into it, the more, I don't want to say depressed, because I wasn't like laying in my bed depressed, but I felt like I had purpose, not motivation to do anything. So even like my workouts, like I felt lost. Like I didn't have that team anymore. Like the minute I was taken out of Rock Solid, I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss these people. Like, I would jump in the team page over in Roadian and Fields and like say some crazy stuff. And I think most people it would be like nothing. Like I would do my little dance parties and it would be like nothing. I'm like, these people, like, I love them to death, but we got to have some fun here. And so I just felt like, even though I still talk to my really good friends from Rock Solid, I felt like I lost my best friends, and I felt like that inspiration was gone from my life. And I had a really hard time finding that. So I was like choosing easy workouts. Like the easiest workout I could do, I was choosing it just to say that I checked the box to work out. Like I told myself that T20 was going to be way too hard for me. I was never going to try that. No way. I couldn't do that. Like, but no, and I didn't have anybody like pushing me saying, yeah, you could. Like, why couldn't you do that? And it's not that Courtney didn't keep coaching me. She tried to coach me, but I was like so devastated about leaving the team and feel like literally a pit in my stomach that I couldn't even talk to her. And so my eating was terrible. And I still had 15 pounds to lose from having a baby. So anyway, I lost my inspiration. I lost my best friends. I lost a network that supported me. And that was the biggest thing. And I was like, that's the biggest thing I want to get back to. Like, as soon as they added me back into Rock Solid, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm home. Like, I can be my crazy self. And I feel like I'm getting up every morning again at 5:30. Well, until my kids started puking, but I'm getting up and I'm working out and I'm feeling good about myself again. And I'm losing weight. Like, I put on a pair of pants I haven't worn in over a year the other day because I've just been working hard. So anyway, that's kind of like my journey. And it's crazy. I wish I would have gone back sooner. I wish I would have, because Courtney welcomed me back with open arms, honestly. Like, she was super excited for me to come, but it's been really scary. But overall, I feel like it's a much happier person since I've decided to come back. So any of you are thinking right now that, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can continue to do this, I'm getting burnt out, don't give up. Don't give up. Even if you just need to take a week breather, don't, because I guarantee you, you will miss the community big time. And you can't get all that back. You can't. Like, if you leave your business, you cannot get it all back. And that was a good lesson for me to learn. And I hope that you guys learn that from me.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, when you leave, like, your coaches and your customers roll up to your upline. So it is like starting completely over.
And Courtney's been really gracious. She's, said any of those customers that I have that were yours, like, heck. And honestly, like, I love the people that were on my team. Like, Dana was on my team. Like, and she's like a rock star. Okay. So I would love to have her back, but I can't get her back. But it's like, I feel like it's a great opportunity again to create a team that I feel is like, so I'm not focused on that. Even though some days when I see Dana killing it, I'm like, you're a dummy. You just got to look at the positive. But if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have walked away. But again, there's life lessons, right? You can't live by the, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or what if, because hey, it could end up being completely 100% better, right? So.
And I think, like you said, you're kind of taking that as like, where am I supposed to be right now? Like, that's what was supposed to happen. How am I going to create a team that's like-minded, like me now, that we're, and run with it together. Right. And, I'm looking at the faces on this call, and some have been here since I've started coaching. Some are new. Some have rolled in and rolled out. And I always tell my team, there's seasons. This is what's so cool about this business, is their seasons, and you have to stay in your own lane, and you have to focus on you and your journey. And if that means you have to take a couple steps back, that's okay. And you always have a place here. When you jumped back in, like, as scary as that must have been, as far as like the business activities, for lack of better terms, like those vital behaviors, how did you start rolling again? Like, what did you focus on? Because that's hard.
It is hard. And honestly, with Roadian and Fields, I had really stopped because, like, one of the biggest challenges with Roadian and Fields is that my sister-in-law was like, well, you're not supposed to post videos and like talk about I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like that's how I communicate. I don't like typing up big things. I don't like slapping photos together that a million other people have shared. Like, I can't do that. And so, that was like the first thing was, I started with that, like, just again, jumping in and sharing things that came up in my mind. Like, I read this great devotional today. And honestly, personal development, that's something that I've continued to do, but I got a lot more serious about it again. I was really good with personal development when I was working full time. I would listen to it, like in the morning as I was getting ready, or like at my lunch break or something. But since I've not been working, I've been worse. So I decided to commit to that again. And so I've read a couple books since I've been back in. Well, I listen on audio. And I tried to buck personal development for a long time when I first started this business, but I went to like a couple summits, went on the cruise, like, and I kept hearing these successful coaches saying, personal development is key. Personal development is key. And I'm like, finally, after 3 years, I'm like, okay, I probably should check into this personal development thing. And so I started listening to audiobooks, because if I read, I fall asleep. And I like listened to a couple books a month, and it changed my business completely. So that's something that I've really started to dive back into. The inviting piece has been a little bit hard, because I feel like in this business, you kind of want to grow relationships before you just invite them. But that's where that 2-week trial thing has really been helpful to me, is that I've just been kind of messaging people and saying, hey, you know, I'm back in the business. I want to offer you this 3-week trial just to see if you like it. And that gives it's, you know, no money like exchange. It's real simple. And then it opens you up to have that conversation about, hey, do you want to continue? So I've really kind of just been going forward with that. Because some of these people I haven't talked to in a while, and I haven't been bonding and growing relationships with. So I didn't want it to be super awkward. Like, hey, haven't talked to you in a couple months. You want to buy a challenge pack? But when you offer them something free, they're like, oh, okay. Because how many other people who have a product to sell do that, right? Like they want you to purchase. So that's kind of how I've been leading back into my inviting, is offering something for free. And do all of them convert? No, but a lot of them have. So that's kind of something that I've been doing. The coach thing I'm still working on. I am, you know, I've added two coaches since I've joined, but I feel like that's one of those things, like you have to build relationships. But I am, like, when I first started back, I'm like, well, I don't want to add a bunch of discount coaches, because I did that before, and I felt like I grew my business on discount coaches. And Courtney's like, and then, you know, it was people that I didn't feel like had that passion, and I was surrounded. Stop. Like, that's great. Like, discount coaches help you build your business. Do you want all discount coaches? No, but stop being scared to do something that, you know, is going to benefit you, benefit the customer. Like, it's okay to have discount coaches, because some of those discount coaches are going to be lifers anyway, and maybe they'll end up deciding to coach. So I've kind of had to get out of my own head a little bit on that. But those are like the top things that I've really been doing since I got back.
All right. Any other questions? I liked how you said that 2-week trial. And I wrote in the chat, we're doing, if you haven't seen in Rise Up Empire, I did a thread today about doing a 5-day clean week, which is that free workout on April 8th.
Which is a great workout.
It is. And it's such an easy thing to invite to. They get a meal plan that's really good. You can do Shakeology with it if you want. Otherwise, you don't have to. But that is such a good way to invite.
When I first joined, I mean, I think we're at such a benefit now, like, and that's kind of why it's exciting to join again at this time, because when I first joined, like, to get people in, typically we had to offer a 10-day trial, which was still really hard, because that's like, what, $55 for a 10-day trial? That was hard to get people to invest in. And so I always was like, gosh, it would be so nice to be able to offer them something for free, because let's face it, I'm like, hey, give me some free samples. Let me try it out, and then I'll let you know if I like it. But Shakeology, you know, you really can't. I did that a couple times, but you really can't. And they need to use it for more than a couple of days to figure it out. So we have an awesome benefit to be able to offer people these 2-week free trials, like, huge benefit. And you should definitely be using that to your advantage. And I wasn't before I left, because I was still focused on the Success Club points and the earning the money, and not seeing the bigger picture, which is, if I get this person linked in for 2 weeks and really, really coach them and like get them engaged in our group, because I add them to the group, the challenge group as well, they're not going to want to leave.
Yeah. And I want to mention, I saw there was a question, but I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said about Success Club points. They're not points, they're people. And I remember, like, when I first started, even a couple years into the business, like, Courtney would tell me that, like, meet people where they're at. They're not about points, it's about people. And I was like, yeah, but I haven't missed a month yet. Like, I have to keep going. And it's like, you know, I kept thinking, like, oh, it's easy for you to say that because people come to you a little bit more easily. I'm still fighting for every point. Like, how can you, you know, I was like, I could not make that switch in my mindset. Like, I did think about the people, but I also was like, but I know that's the ultimate solution. I know that's the best bang for your dollar. And so a lot of times I think, like, I didn't help as many people as I could have, or slowed my business down by not helping as many people, because I didn't come back then. When they said no, I didn't come back and say, well, here's the free trial, or here's this Beachbody on Demand, because I thought, well, then next month they're going to want to jump on board. They're going to change their mind. And so if you're sitting there, and you've heard me say that a lot, like, they're people, meet people where they're at, love them where they're at. And you've had that hard time making that mental switch, because, you know, we do celebrate Success Club. We also celebrate volume, because that's important. But I promise you, if you can kind of make that switch in your mind and just freaking help people, like, at the end of the day, the commission for Beachbody on Demand is almost just as much as a challenge pack. And that may be what somebody can afford, number one, and all that they really want. And if you can make that switch, that's when like things start to happen for you, because it
And
really truly is a person.
if you're constantly putting people in your funnel, like the first couple months, you might not hit Success Club, and that's okay. But like if you set a goal to add, let's say 3 people a week to the free challenge, and you do that for 4 weeks, like that's how many people that you're going to be able to have a conversation with next month and then I'm sure a couple of them will be like, yeah, because then when you have that conversation, you're like, well, here's the deal. Like, here's your options. Challenge packs, one of them, the annuals, one of, and but if you keep people funnel, it's gonna help. So, I saw the question. Beachbody wasn't okay with me. In fact, so the non-compete, actually, I saw it just got changed, and I'm like, of course, because by that change, I could have still had my husband's business, which is where Dana was in my husband's business. But so I had to cancel my business, yes, because I was going to sell another one. So with the non-compete clause, I had to completely cancel. I kept my husband's open though, because he was also high in the organization, obviously. And so I was like, well, if I ever decide to come back, I will have that business. Well, he shared one of my Rodan and Fields posts that I had made, and compliance saw it and canceled his business for me.
What,
but they,
I did just see there was a change.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, I did see where there was change, but I didn't read all the way through.
The biggest thing that I noticed is that you can work for another MLM until you're a diamond, I believe is what it said. But you your products and challenge groups and all that stuff can't. So basically, like, you can join another MLM, but you can't like kind of cross the two, I guess. You have to be very like black and white with that. You can't go to coaches and customers and try to get them to buy your product. And so that, I mean, I think that's a good business, because I think a lot of people left because they felt stuck. They're like, don't tell me I can't, do something else or whatever. Don't tell me. But again, like, I think it is probably hard to do both too, but it's nice because some of us want to be like a discount coach or a discount Scentsy person to get a discount, right? Or some of us want to whatever. So you're allowed to do that now, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that Courtney posted in Rock Solid. So Rise Up Empire, I'll share that over in our team page as well. But I think it was until you can do it up till diamond, but then once you move past diamond, which is kind of nice because it does allow you to grow a business. It allows you to kind of cash in and those team cycle bonuses. But beyond that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think something I did read something too about, like, once you start qualifying for trips and stuff, I need to go back and look at it, but I did read through it, and it's huge. It's great. I love it. I'm not going to, I still am a Rodan and Fields consultant, but I just do it for the discount. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that makes me feel much better that they're not going to come and cancel my business. Cause I mean, I want to get the discount.
All right. Any other questions? Are you going to Summit? That's a good question.
I really hope so. I'm kind of like, it's close, so I could drive. So I'm going to say yes, but it's just, that's one of my goals. Like, I know the certain income that I need to make to be able to make that something that I can do. So I will say, like, you need to get to Summit. If you've never been to a Summit before, like, you have to figure out a way to make it happen. It is like, that will change your business completely. And then to be surrounded by all those people, it's amazing. And so that is my goal, to go. So we'll see. And I better be on that Success Club trip, because I qualified for the Hard Rock. There was a Success Club trip, I guess it was 2 years ago. That was the last one I was supposed to go on, but I got pregnant and couldn't go because I had Zika virus, or because of Zika virus. So I had to cancel my trip. I'm going on the next vacay.
I know. Punta Cana. We got to get there. I know. I've been like stalking the pictures on the ship, and I keep saying to Dan, who's like right behind me, I'm like, I know you don't care, but this is what they're doing. And can you believe it? It looks so awesome.
I hugged Tony Horton in an elevator. He and I shared an elevator on the last cruise. So it's kind of a big deal.
It's going to be awesome. And the Success Club trips are so nice because it's just like everybody on the resort is just strictly like Beachbody, which is so cool. But even Summit, like last year, Indy is just such a really cool place. For those of you on this call who were in Indy last year, you know this, like the trainers are just walking around. Everything's very centralized, but it is a game changer in your business. And So awesome. So I hope you're there. I think Erin Dunwell might have a spot in her room. So I'm just putting a plug out there.
Ooh, that's my girl.
I know. She just messaged me. She's like, because I actually booked her room. So she's like, I need to transfer that into my name. I'm like, I got you, girl.
Maybe I'll have to get a hold of her. And I'll say that's the other, like the biggest difference. Like if you've ever thought about switching MLMs, like that's another thing that I noticed. Like some of these other MLMs have these like big shiny things like, oh, you can have this car, you can, but one thing that I've realized from that, like those are good ways to get people in, but here's the thing, like they're not paying for your car. You have to still make a certain commission to get there. And honestly, the trips that Beachbody offers and the summit and all that, they're great. Like I never even got close to earning a trip through Running Fields. It takes quite a lot to be able to do that. And so I feel like, you know, you don't even have to be like a super rock star coach to do these things and to be a part of these things. Like you just have to, you know, help some people. And so that's, I mean, I think that's great. And there's sustainability in Beachbody. Like you see all these products like Thrive now, all these people have patches all over their bodies. These businesses that just pop up and they have these great incentives, but then you don't hear about them in 5 years. Like Beachbody they're going to be around forever. People are always going to need exercise. People are always going to be interested in nutrition. And now with the Beachbody On Demand, like they're with the times. Like it's only going to get better. So don't ever think this market is saturated because it amazes me the people that I still hear that don't have any idea what Beachbody is. Like, how could you not know? But there's still hundreds and thousands of people to help.
I couldn't agree more. And Beachbody's just doing such a great job. I mean, there's something coming out all the time. I mean, new programs, and the launches can sometimes seem overwhelming. And I always tell my team, like, the launch isn't just a day. It's just a tool that you now have to help people with. But now to have a vegan recover, like, that's huge. Like, they're listening to us, which I really like that they're listening to us and helping us, helping us grow. So,
and keeping with the times. I mean, like, they're going to just continue to be that way, and they're going to eventually open up to more countries. I mean, it's limitless. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I'm really excited that you're back, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us tonight.
Absolutely.
And ladies who are on here, thank you for joining us. You are all such a special part of this team, and I'm so blessed to have you surrounding us. And I hope every single one of you thinks about coming to Summit as well, because it's unlike anything that you'll
got to get there.
It's so cool.
I'm sorry. I wanted to be way more organized, but my family.
You were great.
Really falling apart. So
no, I appreciate you. I'm so sorry that they were sick. You should have told me that. We could have canceled.
Oh no, my husband has it now, which you know what that means. It's like the world is coming to an end. So
you better get moving.
Just pray for me.
Okay. All right. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye guys.
Thank you.